Hey, it's Cate. I'm at the bus. You can hear the creak. You can see the luckiest dog. Who's the luckiest dog? The dog is the luckiest dog. So let's see, Shivambu. So urine therapy. Where am I at? I'm trying to remember when I started. I know the last video I did was a month in. So now it's Saturday. So I guess I'm past day 30. So I'm like, whatever, 5 weeks and a couple days, something like that. Getting close to 6 weeks. We'll say it that way. Getting there. So what did I do today? Like, that's kind of how I'm judging this experience. Is like, well, I'm not trying to make myself do anything. It's not like, it's not a forced march. We'll say that. It's not a forced march. So what I notice is what I'm doing. And I talked to Megan McDonald. Many of you heard the Yoga Healer podcast with Megan McDonald. It was the first Urine Therapy podcast. What are we talking? End of April 2021. So she then reached out to me. She was like, this community is overwhelming me with questions about urine therapy. And I was like, yeah, that'll happen around here. Because we, over the last 20 years, like, we've been building this movement, this tribe, and we have a lot of early adopters. And, if they know I'm experimenting with something and reporting from the hood, they just pick right up on it and start doing it too. So that happened, and she got tons of questions. And so we were talking the other day, and she told me, she's like, well, this is what I do. I wake up and I first of all start swishing with some old urine, and I do a urine enema with 4 ounces of urine. I can't remember if she said fresh or aged there. I'm guessing fresh, because like the warm urine in the morning feels nice up your asshole. I know that sounds weird. And then, like the eye wash, the ear drops, the skin massage, and then drink whatever, a couple cups of morning pee. So that was her morning routine. Some people hear that and they're like, oh my God, that's so intense. That's so disgusting. That must take forever. And it takes about, that whole thing takes, I started doing it immediately after she told me. I'm very high in openness. So like, I don't have a lot of reservation. If something's working, I just am like, all right, until I can't really force myself to do anything anymore. So it's so much less like that. And it's more just curiosity and experimentation. So I started doing that maybe, well, when did she and I talk? I think we met on Wednesday or Thursday of last week, or maybe Tuesday. No, actually it was earlier in the week. So maybe I started doing that every day for the last week. So it's probably that. Not the whole week though, because it's Saturday now. So we'll say the last, I don't know, whatever. It feels like 5 or 6 days. It was enough so that when I went to the hot springs, and I did a sleepover, I brought my enema squirter thing. I seriously did. I brought that. That was like the only apparatus I brought to continue with my urine therapy experimentations. I definitely love dumping fresh urine over my head and massaging it into my scalp. Like, that's like a pleasant surprise of the human anatomy, that the human body and how it functions, that it's like, damn, glad I learned that at 48. Would have been nice to know my whole life. I've lived in the woods a lot. I've been in a lot of circumstances where that would have been just even being able to do like an outdoor bath shower. So a lot of people are like, I don't get it. Urine smells, but it doesn't smell when it's absorbed into the skin or the scalp. So I'm trying to, right now, I'm doing all the research for the book. The book's coming along. Thank you very much. And it's very cartoon character conversations and really easy for anyone to kind of get the thing, get what's going on, get why it works in the body. So there's this debate on the internet. There's a few debates on the internet, it turns out. Yeah, I know that's shocking. Around urine. There's a theory that urine is sterile, and there's another theory that urine isn't sterile. I'm trying to understand. It seems like the more polluted your diet is, meaning like the more synthetic crap you're taking in and the more pharmaceuticals you're on, what happens, like when the body breaks down and is sick, it seems like at that point you see bad bacteria showing up in the urine. So in a healthy person, that doesn't seem to happen. You can raise your eyebrows at that. So then around sterility, it's like, well, how do we define sterility? And is it that it doesn't involve things that show life? Or is it that it doesn't involve things that show disease? Because, right? Like, how do you even think about it? Because urine, I was just looking it up this morning, there's like over 4,000 proteins identified in urine. It's probiotic. If you're healthy it's probiotic. If you're healthy, it's alkaline. If you're healthy, it's packed with all the hormones your body is trying to absorb and reabsorb. So it makes your body so much more, your endocrine system, that's what the hormones control. It makes that smart, like really smart. I mean, who doesn't want a smart endocrine system? My gosh. Controls, every major organ system. So is it sterile or not? And how much of, is one of the reasons it works for electrolytes, so electrolyte drinks, bam, there goes another industry that would just be taken out if everyone on the planet converted to urine therapy. Why? Because it's it has every electrolyte you need and is pre-absorbed if you have a healthy diet. So it's pre-absorbed because it's already been blood plasma. That's what's so cray-cray, man. Is why are we so freaking uneducated? Most 6-year-olds know how to use an iPhone. They really do. That you will learn something from your average 6-year-old. They will help you do something you're trying to do if you're listening to this video. And they don't know what's in their urine or how their urine works in their body, or even, it's if it's dangerous or if it's the healthiest stuff they will ever find in their entire lives. Don't get me started. So what I'm noticing is this, that I was reading last night. I'm reading The Golden Fountain. I think the guy is Dutch. Cohen something. I don't know. We're trying to get him on the podcast. Anyways, the factors, and I don't know what kind of microbiota we're talking about with these factors. There's been 2 isolated anti-cancer factors. What I notice, again, I'm going up the ass and down the chute, right? At this point, daily, and a lot. Yesterday, I maybe drank, I partied the night before. You're not necessarily supposed to drink your urine after you eat alcohol, but I was so dehydrated, I was like, I might as well do this. So I maybe drank 2 quarts of urine yesterday. It felt really good. I didn't feel like I'd partied the night before. So anyway, 2 anti-cancer factors. I'll list some of the studies and if I don't know if we have notes to this, if this is going on a podcast, but otherwise just look it up. Anti-cancer factors in urine. What it feels like is, it feels like the uric acid pulls mucus and ama off membranes. And then I would imagine that same action is happening within cells. I don't have that degree of sensitivity. I can feel membranes. I can feel the membrane of my entire digestive tract, right? And I can feel more and more of that the more I saturate my organs, is what it feels like. Saturate my organs with urine, with my pee. So what's changing in my diet as I'm doing this? I definitely am much more, I would say, organically attuned with food. Not organic food, I'm not saying that, but yes, and that too. I'm just saying the whole body feeding the body, not the mind controlling the experience. That's happening. And I am not I'm not getting bloating. I am sometimes getting gas. I'll notice that. It'll pull a lot of excess air or vata out of my system occasionally and just do this big purge, and I'll get a ton of gas. In the beginning, the gas smelled like urine, and that was just, it was really in terms of what people would consider disgusting smells, that was that. So that was detoxing. How much have I been detoxing from this? Yeah, I would be pretty worried if if I'm just thinking about this with releasing the book. If someone's really sick, right? Say someone's really sick and they're overweight and they have been for a while, and they've eaten a lot of foods that have synthetic ingredients. And maybe they've taken some pharmaceuticals that have synthetic ingredients. Maybe they're even taking synthetic vitamins and supplements. So not organic, but synthetic. Not coming from nature, but coming from a laboratory. The more they're eating food that's coming from food laboratories. Man, it's going to work, obviously. But how can the person freaking hang? Right? I mean, for me, it's been really, fun, super fun. But it's detoxing it's definitely detoxing my body. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. The luckiest dog. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like, so I don't have a lot of synthetic stuff. But I'm still getting, those first few weeks, like the stinky ass urine farts, man, like, you're like, is this good for me or not? I know it's good because I can feel that. But if someone didn't know and someone was super toxic, I don't know. Probably depends entirely. There's a word, I love this word in yoga, adhikara, or studentship, meaning depends how much they want to feel better. Depends how fast they want to feel better, because you always have your foot on the gas pedal and the brake. It's pretty straightforward. Like, you stop doing it with urine therapy, like, your body will slow way down on the detoxification process. If you go more towards fasting on UT, then put the pedal to the metal, baby. So there's that. Which feels to me like a skill. Like, you develop your skillfulness. And then you have that skillfulness for life. Like, it's not like you have to be married to the idea of like this whole complex thing at all. It seems like a lot of people end up where the former Prime Minister of India, the guy that lived to 100, I can't remember his name. That guy. I think he died. When did he die? Maybe in the late 90s. Is that guy. It's just like, a cup of your morning urine first pee a day. Like, that's it. Like, that's all you need to do. And honestly, like, the more you do it, the more that it seems natural. And actually, everything about all this everything is more natural. You're renaturing, you're rewilding. This is the next frontier of the rewilding movement. Cate Stillman of Yoga Hill reporting from Teton Creek. Something like that. Honestly, you saturate your organs in urine just like you were in the womb, because that's what was going on in the womb. I think the explorations of lung. Burdock, what the heck are you doing here? If burdock can grow here, my guess is rhubarb can grow here. Burdock. Maybe I'll harvest some baby burdock roots. Burdock's so rough on the land, basically because of her. It's stuck in her coat. It says big burrs. The big burrs is burdock. Amazing liver cleanser. Okay, so then let's talk about that while we're having this chat. So let's talk about what happens with herbs and supplements. What's even happen with like, if someone had to be, say I personally had to be on a pharmaceutical for some life-saving reason, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. First of all, I'd try to find the organic compound of it if it existed, not the synthetic. But then my guess is what would happen is the more you're doing urine therapies, you would actually, because you're constantly upcycling. It starts to, whatever it was wrong it would have a better shot at curing itself. I'm having the experience of that. Like, that just seems to be how health works. This is like the force of good in the universe, the force of order, right? That brings harmony, that then increases the, what it does is once you're in harmony, the emanation of that is beauty. Yeah, so all good things right there. Is you would just need way less of it. It was like, can you find a stick? Oh, it's a very nice stick. Yeah, is that, you need less of it. So when they were doing that, the guy, when there was a penicillin shortage in World War II, and the guy's like, the doctor's like, I bet we can find the penicillin in the piss. And they did. They found tons of it. They found, I think it was 90%. So imagine whatever expensive supplement you've ever wanted to take. You deck yourself out with all the best. And supplements, thank you, organic, what is your name? Organic Health Nut? That guy? The crazy health nut guy? Troy Casey. Yeah, we need to get Troy Casey on the podcast. Oh my God, that guy's hilarious. So anyways, he's like, stop calling them supplements, start calling them plant foods. Get connected to the plant foods. So if I look around here, there's all these little bushes, and there's some dandelions down there, and it's it's all, I mean, what is poisonous here? There's like one or two things that would be like, oh, I better not eat that. There's grass. So anyways, plant foods are packed. And the more, like, what is an herb versus a food? So these are baby aspen leaves, right? It's not like people, I mean, if you're really freaking hungry, you'd have to eat a lot of it, but it has a stronger energy. The baby leaves are more like a food, right? Where you're going to get some fiber, you're going to get some chlorophyll. But man, actually, you know what? Even the baby ones, man, I'm getting the secondary, like, oh no, that pungent intensity is right there. It's even a little sour. So these qualities, anyone who missed the edible plants workshop, like, please watch that. I threw down for like 70 minutes. So if you're wanting to understand Ayurveda and edible plants and invasives and the superfoods outside your door that are free, you should really listen to that. Yes, you should. Because I just want to assume that everybody knows that's listening to this, if you know what I mean. Because it just makes it way more efficient. Okay. Dandelion. Greens. Way more like a food. Because you don't get that like intense medicinal, like this is going to do something. There's Oregon grapefruit berries. Those yellow ones. Those flowers. These become the berries. Oh yeah. I'm just going to eat my way through this. Soon I'm going to like, I shouldn't eat and talk at the same time. Okay, I won't do that. But these are edible too. So any components, like why is a plant a medicine? So there's food for energy and for building basic building blocks of tissue. Supplements or plant medicines is where you go into designer mode. There's like clothing designers. I need one. If anyone knows of someone who thinks I need a personal shopper. Anyway, there's also like the potential for any human being to be their own body designer. Oh, see my nose? Oh, yeah. Hold on, air hanky. Yep, those baby aspen leaves, they mixed it up. They brought a little bit of fluidity into my sinus cavity. So the more you're tasting the plant, you can tell sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, astringent. You can tell a lot of what you're tasting will feel like complexity. Phytonutrient complexity is what you're experiencing, which is diversity, is like phytonutrient diversity. And then there's plant nutrient density. So what is that? It's like the density of nutrients in plants. So those are very, very, very high in the medicinals. So you get to design your organic experience, your organs experience in your body and how your organs are functioning. So you get to design the strength of your heart and your lungs and the easy flow of your digestion and absorption and elimination and the quality of your bone tissue and all that is where you use the really, this relationship that you develop with plants and taste. And if you're upcycling your urine, what happens is you're just getting so much more bang for your buck, so to speak. So, with all that said, what seems to happen with somehow the urine having all the amino acid building blocks to build protein, what seems to happen with food is that of course, I've been talking about this for years. Like your entire digestive tract is like a snake. From the mouth, which is the mouth of the snake, to the anus, which is the bottom tip, right, where the out goes. And that's your digestive tract. And it's trying to communicate with your tongue what it wants, what the body wants. Well, with the UT, up the butt and down the pie hole, what that does is it just makes that whole snake free of ama or mucus or plaque. Just pulls it all out. I mean, that's part of, like, when you think of it, it's like it's got ammonia in it. Pee has ammonia that your body can tolerate. Yeah, like those people drinking apple cider vinegar, like, take it to a new level. Seriously. So what happens is because you need less, because you're getting more out of anything you're eating, and you're getting smarter in how you're designing what you're putting in, because your six tastes are more awake, because there's less plaque. Mouth to anus is You can taste the fake food. Like it's pretty crazy, you know, how you get really attuned to nutrition and nourishment. I've been reading enough books on it. Like that seems to be, all these things seem to be the what to expect when you start doing urine therapy. So from what I can tell, the reason people don't stick with it, let's talk about that. Because I'm obviously like hook, line, and sinker at this point, you know, and it's like, well, will I keep it up in a couple of years? Like I'm talking about this, like I said, 5 to 6 weeks in. This is what's happening. I'm guessing the reason people stop is community. It's why people stop most habits is the people around them don't have those habits. So it's super important, therefore, to be in the Yoga Healer Facebook, the free Facebook group, be on the email list, like be connected to people that are doing this, and you'll be so much more successful. That's true of any habit. So whatever habits you're trying to develop, whatever skills, tools, you know, whatever network would support you being the person you want to be next, like you go do that. Yeah, that's kind of how that works. Yep. So I'm trying to think what else. Oh, so in the hot spring, I put my head in the water and it's like super high mineral, but my ears are crazy sensitive. So I can get, and it's because I guess I've heard it's because I have like these ultra fine eustachian tubes and they get blocked really easily. My guess that's due to ama, that there's a deep ama that I can maybe clear out. My guess is it's scar tissued, so it's like fucking hard as bone in my ear canal. So in any case, they're shrunk, there's less flow, so it's really easy for me to get an ear infection. And this morning I was like, oh my God, that right ear was super tender. So I put in some urine, some older urine, and like, you know, an hour later it feels great. So I'm curious about the eyesight and the hearing, like that'll keep me pretty committed for a while, because I like my senses a lot. And in our Ayurveda, you know, it's basically like your 5 senses determine what you perceive. So I'd like that to be as clear as possible for as long as possible. I got a little bit of a chunk in my throat. All right, Cate Stillman, yogahealer.com, signing off.